It was Friday the 13th when everything began, a date that even in Hong Kong carries an uneasy weight, though it's far less talked about than the 7th lunar month. People tend to blend the Western superstition with their own, especially during the Hungry Ghost Month, when the gates of the afterlife open and spirits supposedly wander among the living. Most locals know the basic rules: don't whistle at night, don't stay out too late, don't sit in the reserved front row ghost seats at the street opera. But there used to be another rule, one that people avoid talking about now, one connected to a phone line that should never ring. My name is Marcus, and I used to work the night shift there. I'm telling this from a payphone in Macau, because I can't risk using a mobile phone anymore. Every time I hear a ringtone, even faintly, my chest tightens. I know what might be on the other end. I know what I answered. I know what followed me. 15 years ago, I was 23, freshly graduated, rational, and convinced that superstitions were for the uneducated. I volunteered for the night shift, 10 p.m. to 6 a.m., because it paid more, and because superstition didn't scare me. The 15th floor of that aging industrial tower was quiet at night. There were 50 cubicles on the floor, but only 5 of us worked after midnight. Flickering fluorescent lights, groaning air conditioning, and the distant hum of machinery from other floors were the only companions. Around 2 a.m., on that Friday, the 13th, the first day of Hungry Ghost Month, my phone rang. The number flashed. Extension 4444. 4 is death in Chinese culture. 4s meant 4 deaths, or death repeated, a number that should never have been assigned, let alone used. I glanced at my coworkers, but no one else reacted. Maybe they didn't notice. Maybe they didn't want to. I answered anyway. China Mobile Customer Service. This is Marcus speaking. How may I help you? Only static greeted me at first. Not the usual line static. This sounded wet, like someone breathing through water, thick and heavy. Hello? Can you hear me? I asked in Cantonese. Then, a woman's voice emerged. 3 tones at once, layered imperfectly, as if she existed across multiple frequencies, and the line couldn't decide which one to transmit. I want to make a complaint, she said. I swallowed and forced my voice steady. Of course, ma'am. What seems to be the issue? I've been trying to call my son for 7 days, but he won't answer. I need you to connect me. I pulled up the account system. Could you provide me with your phone number? She did. I typed it in. Deceased. Terminated 7 days prior. I froze. A glitch, I told myself. Maybe someone was using her old number. That's what I wanted to believe. Ma'am, the account shows that it has been... I know I'm dead, she interrupted. Her voice crackled. I drowned in Tolo Harbor 7 days ago. I walked into the water with stones in my pockets. But my son won't answer his phone. He needs to know I'm not angry. He needs to know I forgive him. My hand trembled. This had to be a prank. Someone messing with the new guy. But her voice there was grief in it that no prankster could fake. I'm afraid I can't. Please, she whispered. Suddenly 1 voice instead of 3, fragile and aching. Please. I just want to tell him I forgive him. Against every instinct, I pulled up her son's number. I made a 3-way call. He answered after a few rings, groggy and irritated. Wei? Someone wants to speak with you, I said. I connected them. Silence. Then sobbing. Both ends. A mother and son crying across worlds. Mom, he whispered. Mom, is it really you? I forgive you, she said. For everything. Please forgive yourself. They spoke for 7 minutes exactly. Then the line went dead, not disconnected, just dead, and the call log showed nothing. A blank gap where 7 minutes should have been. I tried to convince myself it was fatigue, a hallucination, stress. Then the next night, extension 4444 rang again. This time it was a man. His voice sounded jagged, like words forced through a mouthful of broken glass. I need to tell my wife where I hid the money. For our daughter's education. She cannot lose the flat. Sir, I don't think. I died on a construction site in Wan Chai 3 days ago. Fell 15 floors. The foreman cut the safety cables. She needs the money. Again, I connected the call, and again, the loved one answered. She screamed, wrote down instructions, sobbed. The call lasted 3 minutes, exactly. I told my supervisor, Mrs. Chan, the next day. Her face drained of color. Marcus, extension 4444 was disconnected decades ago. It shouldn't exist. She made me promise to keep quiet, then told me about Mei Ling, a receptionist who received calls from the dead 20 years earlier. She tried to help them, all of them. Every night more spirits called. She became obsessed, hollowed out, consumed. They found her dead at her desk, holding the phone. The guard swore he heard dozens of voices coming from the receiver, even though she'd been dead for 3 days. A priest sealed the line. Extension 4444 was never to be used again. Mrs. Chan begged me, if it rings again, do not answer. But on Friday, the 13th, the second occurrence that month, it rang. I tried to ignore it. I really did. But the blinking light felt alive, calling me, choosing me. I answered. The chorus hit me instantly. Dozens of voices overlapping, pleading, begging. Some frantic, some resigned, some whispering apologies, some demanding justice, children crying for parents. Elderly voices, desperate, not to be forgotten. I dropped the phone, but the call didn't end. The light kept blinking. I picked up again. One voice cut through the chaos. Mei Ling. You shouldn't have answered, she said. Now they know you can hear them. How do I stop this? I asked. You can't. I stopped sleeping. Every night extension 4444 rang. My coworkers said I looked pale, thinner. They claimed I wasn't eating. They claimed I'd always been quiet. I felt reality slipping. On the 7th day of the 7th lunar month, I arrived to find my desk moved. I was at Mei Ling's old station. Who moved my desk? I demanded. They stared at me, confused. Marcus, you've always sat there. The truth started unraveling. My memories blurred. When was the last time I'd gone home? Showered? Called my family? At midnight exactly, extension 4444 rang. I answered. Marcus, Mei Ling said gently. It's time. For what? To understand. You died 2 weeks ago. A minibus in Mongkok, do you remember? I didn't. Then I did. The horn. The impact. Darkness. Waking up at my desk, thinking I'd fallen asleep. I looked at my hands. They were translucent. My coworkers were gone. Had they ever been there? Or had I been seeing shadows of the living that I could no longer join? The line goes both ways, Mei Ling said. The living call the dead call the living. But sometimes, the dead don't realize which side they're on. I tried to stand. My legs didn't respond. My voice didn't echo. I had become part of the silence. What do I do now? I whispered. What we all do. We wait. We listen. We help. And we hope that someday, someone will connect our call so we can speak to those we left behind. Now, I sit at the desk on the 15th floor. Extension 4444 never stops ringing during Hungry Ghost Month. Most people ignore it, but every now and then, a new hire works the night shift. They don't know the stories. They don't know the danger. They think they're too modern, too rational, too educated to fear a number. They answer, and I try to warn them, just as Mei Ling warned me. But the line goes both ways, and the dead are always listening. After I realized the truth, the building itself began to change for me. The hallways grew longer, stretched impossibly like scenes from nightmares where no exit exists. I wandered once, trying to find the elevator, but every turn led me back to the 15th floor. Doors that once opened to supply closets now led to empty rooms where phones rang endlessly, each one flickering with the number 4444. When I approached, the ringing stopped, replaced by whispers asking if I could hear them, asking if I would listen. If you work in a call center in Hong Kong and you see extension 4444 light up, especially on a Friday the 13th during Hungry Ghost Month, don't answer. Don't even look at it. Walk away. Because once you answer, you may realize you've been on the wrong side of the line all along. The calls never stop. The line is always open. and someone is waiting for you to pick up.